This is the Rays POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Tampa Bay Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Tampa Bay Rays POSTCAST, your spot for instant Rays reaction after every single game. My name is Jonathan Shields, and this is one of the more frustrating losses I think the Rays have had in a little bit, in a stretch where the Rays have been playing some frustrating baseball. Where to start? In this one, we're going to be talking about how Ha-Seong Kim made his debut and is now hurt. We're going to talk about, which is probably the biggest storyline of the game, that the bullpen continues to struggle. We're talking about the offense was pretty much non-existent for 7 of the 9 innings, and we're going to look ahead to see how they can bounce back tomorrow. But first, let's talk about how just awful of a loss that this was.
This is what you'll be talking about.
In a game where I really thought that the Rays had control after they took the lead in the 6th inning. And it's tough because they spoil a really good outing from Zack Littell. And he's been nothing but consistent since, he's had that rough stretch in April. But this is a game it felt like the Rays were in control of. And then unforced errors propelled an offense that has been awful recently. The Twins' offense has been pretty historically bad. Not historically bad, but probably the worst that they're playing all season. Coming into this game, the Twins, we talked about it when we were previewing the game. Coming this game, they lost 4-5. They haven't scored more than 5 runs just one time in the last 10 games. In the games versus the Marlins coming into this, they scored their last 5 games for this, 3 games for this. 3 runs, 2 runs, or 3 runs, 0 runs, 2 runs, 1 run. And you give a team a run by hitting 2 players. And to me, there's nothing more frustrating than that, because you have the matchup you want. You have Castro batting right-handed. You have your best reliever in Clevenger, and he hits him. And it's okay. You still have Brooks Lee up, and then he hits him again. And on the replay, I don't know. I know the Rays have a challenge, but it really did look like the ball hit him. But no one really argued about it. But maybe I just didn't see the greatest angle of it. But that's what makes it ultra frustrating, because I really felt like the Rays beat themselves, and it's something that they don't do often. That they really don't. If you look at the game, obviously the Rays didn't have any errors. The hits were similar, but I don't know. It was just a feeling thing. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys are in the live, make sure you leave a like and comment. And yeah, it make it even more frustrating. Ha-Seong Kim makes a debut, rips his 105-mile-an-hour single, steals second, and then there was no reason. I will say this again: when you have first and second, nobody out. If you have second and nobody out, unless Chandler Simpson is stealing, you do not steal third base. One of my cardinal rules is you don't steal third base, especially with anyone up. I don't care who it is, with 0 outs. You can do it with 1 out. I get it. You want to move the runner over. If you want to move the runner over, how about you bunt? You can do second and third with 1 out. But no, the Rays decide to steal, and Ha-Seong Kim gets thrown out, and he gets hurt. And sorry, it sounded a little angry there, but that's the most frustrating part of this. It's avoidable. That was a huge spot in the game. It's not our turning point. We'll get to that in a second, but just a huge, huge spot in the game. And, the Rays end up scoring there to make it not look as bad, but they should have scored another run there. And if they did, because it still ended up being an RBI single. Shout out Josh Littell, by the way. He's been fantastic. We'll talk about him in a second. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't get it. And it's on Kevin Cash for that one. And people want to talk about the bullpen and stuff like that. Who else are you going to? I would have gone to you Saturday, and actually maybe not, because he's pitched a lot recently. I think a lot of it might be fatigue, but you said a bit. You guys want to blame him for the bloop hit from Byron Buxton, which was let me go to exactly what it was off the bat. Byron Buxton's double, because it was not harder than 80 miles an hour. So one of them was a bloop hit, which was, where's Byron Buxton? Hit 60 off the bat. I'm not blaming blaming Ed when you said on that. I'm really not. So then you go to the other single. Again, he had one single that was hard hit, in my opinion. Other ones were just kind of unlucky. The thing that was the turning point of this one is when Garrett Clevenger came in.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
It's when Garrett Clevenger hit back-to-back guys. And you go to Clevenger there 100 times 100. To me, I think he's been the most consistent reliever. But, the first one was, okay, it's a cutter that ran in. It's unfortunate, but, it happens. The second one, anytime you hit back-to-back batters, to me, it's fairly unacceptable. And it's just something that he hasn't done a ton of. Hit batters or give up free passes in general, and to do it back-to-back times is so unlikely to happen. It's just, I don't know. It was even more magnified, oddly, because of the situation. And yeah, I don't. It's just frustrating. I want to say I don't know, but I do know it's frustrating what happened. Like, everyone should be frustrated. This was an awful loss. This was a loss that shouldn't happen. I mean, the Rays need to take 2 out of 3 in Minnesota. They have a hellish road trip coming up. They go to Detroit after this, the best team in baseball. I don't care if they took 2 out of 3 against them at home. They need to win these next 2 games, and not need to. Like, you don't need to do anything when it's still July. You have plenty of time. But man, I mean, this was a game I would love to get. And then the Rays have Taj going tomorrow, which you want to talk about Edwin. You said it being a roller coaster. Taj pitching has been a roller coaster, and then you face Joe Ryan on Sunday, who's the Twins' ace. So this was a game I felt like the Rays had a pitching match. Not to mention, we talked about Chris Paddock. He had a 9 ERA in June. He comes out and looks like prime Nolan Ryan through the first 4 innings. I mean, the Rays really did not apply any pressure until the 5th inning, I want to say. I mean, they were really, really held at bay for a majority of the game. I mean, they applied it. They got a runner scoring position in the 4th. In the 5th, again, got a runner scoring position, but with 2 outs. But it wasn't until the 6th where they really started to take over. But yeah, the offense was quiet for 7 of the 9 innings, in my opinion. And in the 7th, they should have gotten even more if it wasn't for a mismanagement of base running. I'll put it that way, because it's just my rule, I guess. I don't know. I've never coached baseball at a professional level. Obviously, I haven't coached baseball at really any level. But to me, it's just kind of common sense. Why would you steal third with less than 1 out with a guy that's not Chandler Simpson, with a guy just came off the IL, with a guy that, obviously Heisman can run. He had a stolen base in the game, but a guy that's like not known as like the greatest stolen base person. Like, he's a guy that had 22 steals last year. Like, granted, he did have 38 the year before. Like, he is a good base stealer, but he's, I don't know, to steal third in that spot. And if you would have made it, no one would have said anything else. It would have been a good call by Cash. But I'm just so against stealing third with 0 outs, because you'd let whoever's hitting hit. And then if you want to try to get there with 1 out, I'm all for it, because then you can still score with a productive out. But, we still have a bunch to talk about. We're going to dive in more into the bullpen. We're going to talk about the positives of the offense. I might have been a little bit too harsh on them, but the positives of the offense. And we're talking about Zack Littell right after this. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last-minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merch, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Game Time makes it possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Price on the app actually drop closer you get to first pitch. And you've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. And my favorite part about Game Time is you can see where the seat is going to be before you even buy it. If a lot of times if you go on these other tickets apps, they don't have that, or they don't have it in a very good way. Game Time has it super clear. You can see where you're going to sit. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off, and that's a free ticket, maybe even 2 to some games. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So if you guys are in the live, make sure you leave a like and comment, as we are going to break down this offense a little bit more. Look, Josh Lowe has been fantastic. His offense is average back up to 275. Yandy's been one of the best hitters in baseball recently. Brandon Lowe's hitting streaks at 19, and Junior had 2 hits with an RBI. Those top 4 are really good. Aranda, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. He's in a little 0 for 15 slump right now. If you count his 0 for 4 today, he is 2 for his last. He is 2 for his last 18 and 3 for his last 22. So probably his biggest slump of the year. And I'm not going to say that the Rays are reliant on him, but man, you really start to feel it kind of more than other players when he struggles. And this is the first time he's really struggled. So it's hard to say, the Rays feel it more, but because he's been so consistent this year. But we're really starting to see him not hit a wall, but struggle for the first time this season. So obviously I'm live right now, but if you guys hear anything about Ha-Seong Kim's update, let me know, because obviously that was crazy. But let's talk about Zack Littell. Man, he just continues to be just a stalwart. He goes 6 innings, 4 hits, 5 strikeouts, only 1 run, the typical Zack Littell home run that happens every game. And you go to the bullpen after that, which we already talked about. And again, I'm not blaming Kevin Cash for how he utilizes the bullpen, because this bullpen needs help. It needs Manny Rodriguez mostly. And I said it the other day on the postcast, they need to go out and get another arm, maybe even 2, because you don't trust a lot of guys here. There's no one I trust less in the bullpen than Mason Montgomery. Now, you said it, you hold your breath. I think people saying you said should be DFA'd are dumb, if I'm being honest, because he's working on an insane workload right now. And the hits today half of them were bloop hits or whatever. Then you go to Kevin Kelly, who looks like nothing like he did last year. I think he's not a guy you can have in on the end of the game. I'm not really sure why they didn't go to Fairbanks in the 9th, if I'm being completely honest. First pitch in the 9th, the game's over. But yeah, I'm just really more interested to see what the update on Ha-Seong Kim is, and if he's going back on the IL, because if he is, man, this is going to be one of the worst free agency signings in a while. But let's get to the comments. We go to Jack Takes. That game was in hand. The bullpen gave it away. Awful. Better get it right yesterday. They need to get right tomorrow. This is a game where the Rays, the Twins pitcher is undecided. If they announce who the pitcher was, you guys let me know. But it is just, as Craig Kurtzman, this is very important. He says, Cash said, right calf issue for Kim. They're hoping it's just a cramp. I tell you what, it better be just a cramp. But that's good. That is good news nonetheless. As we go to Gary, says, happy 4th of July. Was hoping for a better outcome. Unfortunately, the bullpen didn't get the job done today, squandering the lead. Good to see Ha-Seong Kim in the Braves lineup, and it was good. So that's why I'm hoping that he is, kind of good to go. But if you look at this bullpen, if I can, just kind of quickly go through the games. Obviously, they almost blew the lead to the Athletics 2 days ago. And in the game where they lost 4-3 to the A's, again, it wasn't like a dominant performance. Montgomery gives up the run in extra time. Shane Baz gave up 3. So I guess that they were fine. I didn't love Montgomery being put in there in the 10th, but that's a different outcome. As Gary Goss said, awful game, awful loss, man. You're up 3-1 against a team that struggled with your A bullpen fully intact. Like, that's a game you need to win. As you go to Mike H, he said, why did they bring out Kelly in the 9th? I agree. I think they should have gone to Fairbanks. Fairbanks never throws, and you save him to throw for these spots. I don't care if it's not a save situation. Like, you need your best reliever to throw there to get it to extras, and you take your chances in extras. So there's 2 decisions that Cash made that was pretty awful. That was one of them. As we go to Luke, he says, the fact that 2 relievers with the most appearances, you said and Monty both have ERAs above 5.5, is bad. It is bad. And I think more than anyone, as you said, is a little bit inflated. And yeah, I'm going to honestly be a pretty big, Edwin, you said, a defender, because I think his workload has been a lot for him, and I would not have pitched him today. What he did the other day to get out of that inning after allowing the hits was some pretty baller stuff. So, and Mason Montgomery, you guys kind of know how I feel on Mason Montgomery, not huge. As Gary says, Ulysses on a recent Rays podcast mentioned a slight tweak in the lineup by moving Jake Magnum to the leadoff spot because of high on base percentage and having the 9-1 combo of Simpson and Magnum. Thoughts? Yeah, I saw this too. It's a good idea. I'd be interested to see if they twinker with it, because Magnum does have the prototype of a leadoff hitter, but Josh Lowe's really been swinging it well. I don't know if you want to mess with what Josh Lowe is doing in that leadoff spot right now. I think having a top 3 of, in whatever order, I know they put Yandy second day, but of Lowe, Lau, Yandy, Junior, Aranda, or whatever order you want to do, is good. But again, this is something I want to be opposed to see. But I'd be little careful with moving Josh Lowe out of a leadoff spot when he's been hitting so well. As Craig Kurtzman says again, Cash can't escape blame for this game. The double steal is a bad move. Kim has heard, then using Uceta instead of Littell in the 7th. Enough is enough when Uceta has a 9+ ERA in the last 7 games. Yeah, I don't know if I probably wouldn't have sent Littell back out there in the 7th either. I was a little surprised when he did go to Uceta. I don't think Uceta should have pitched today. I mean, he's thrown a lot of pitches the last few games. I mean, the power of this, we can go look how many pitches he's thrown the last few outings. So he threw 26 and 23 last week, which is a lot for a reliever. And for him to come back, so he's thrown over 20 pitches his last. Oh, excuse me, he threw. I was missing the game from yesterday. So in the last week, so from last Friday to this Friday, he's thrown 22, 23, 26, and 29 pitches, and then 10 today. I just would not have thrown him. That's too many pitches for a reliever. He needs a day or two off. As we go to Michael Tonley, stop throwing. You said out there in close games. My goodness, as a team should know if you can't trust him. Like, yeah, I mean, it's a roller coaster when he's out there, but I don't think today was mostly on him. When Byron Buxton hits a double, they go 60 mile an hour off the bat. You tip the cap. That's baseball. Obviously the first single was again kind of a liner, but I don't think he should have been in. I think it's a manager thing. I mean, I just went over. He's thrown almost 100 pitches over the last week. And a guy like that is tired, especially he threw back-to-back games leading into the off day, and then he throws again today. I mean, he is – I wouldn't be surprised if they do like a phantom 15-day IL thing for him because he just needs some rest going into this all-star break. As Gary also said, do not understand the bullpen configuration in the ninth or Fairbanks and Orsi not available. I mean, I know for a fact Fairbanks was available. There was an off day yesterday. And then Orsi, yeah, so in a 1/8 sense, I would have liked Orsi to come out in the ninth instead of Kevin Kelly. It's tough for any reliever to sit down and then come back, whether it's the 7th to the 8th, the 6th to the 7th, and especially to the 8th to 9th. It is so rare to find a 2-inning reliever. If you do and you find a good one that you can use high levels, you hold on to them and you never let go. We've seen what happens when we try to use Pete in 2 innings. It never works. You've been trying to stretch out, you said, at 2 innings. We've seen it's hit or miss. They've tried to do it to Orsi. He's been awful. So doing it is going to be kind of interesting to see. As everyone's in here saying calf injury to Ken, which is good. Hopefully it is just a cramp, like you guys say. As we go to Gary says, Cub record for hits was Yandy Diaz with 20. Brandon Lau ties just about with 19 for the longest race hitting streak. Yeah, he's been awesome. What Brandon Lau was doing. I said on last POSTCAST, I mean, if you tell me he's going to hit 275 for an extended part of the year, I'd have said, you're crazy. He's never done that in his career. So to see him do it, hard work pays off. Super happy for him. So Landy Luxembourg, I see a lot of these comments, man. You said it must go. I really do not think so. I guess I'm more in the Edwin Uceta camp, and I just did kind of a whole spiel on how I think that he shouldn't have even been in the game today because of the amount of pitches he's thrown. Let me just go back to it. Starting with Thursday the 26th, so 8 days ago against Kansas City, he threw 22 pitches. Saturday the 28th against Baltimore, 23 pitches. Tuesday the 1st, 26 pitches. Wednesday the 2nd, 29 pitches. Just not an advantageous spot for him. Spot for him. So look, it's time to look ahead to the game tomorrow. We already briefly talked about it. I know we said it a few games ago, and Bradley came out and shoved. This is really one of the biggest starts I think of Taj Bradley's career. He's been really bad for 4 of his last 5 starts. I mean, his ERA in June was 5.7, and it would have been higher if they would have given him his earned runs on the start in New York, where he gave up 5 runs, none of them earned, and the reason they were earned is because he committed the error, which made them unearned. So I've said before, I am a Taj Bradley believer, but man, I mean, this is a massive, massive game for him tomorrow, and this is a game the Rays need. You don't want to be going into a game against Joe Ryan where you're already down 2-0 in the series. This is a massive, massive, massive game for Taj. He pitched against the Twins earlier this season with 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned, 6 strikeouts. If he does that, you take that 100 times out of 100. So that's what I'm looking forward to tomorrow. But I'm going to wrap it here, guys. I appreciate every single person that joined. If you guys made it all the way to the end, whether you were in watching the replay, listening on podcast, watching live, make sure you guys leave a like and comment. And we'll be back tomorrow. Earlier game tomorrow, earlier postcast. And I will see you guys then.